Creator but as an artist, The Boy Must Be Crazy was his first introduction into the world of music. 2 years later, he brings Matero in the house, but this coincides with a very trending meme. Mukapia. What can't Ndine Emma do? How are you doing?
I'm doing great, man. How are you doing?
I'm good. It's good to see you.
Good to see you too. You've gained a lot of weight.
Aye.
And
I always, these days, I always say this. The beauty of doing these interviews is seeing a lot of growth within the creatives themselves.
Yeah.
Where you sit, we see A-listers to people that just put out their first song.
Yeah.
And every time they show up different. They show up new. They show up, you know, a different person. And I think that's been your story as well, that there's been a lot of growth that people have seen from Ndine Emma. But I want to focus, my first question, I want to focus solely on the industry. You have a very different story from us who are looking out when it comes to being an upcomer or young talent or underground, whatever you want to call it, because you are endorsed by Chef 187. Just the other day, Jonah was saying, you know, seeing Ndine Emma grow and become, it's just beautiful to see. The likes of many people have endorsed you, and even in the circles you're found with, it's like you are making music as fresh talent, but the circles you're found with is Navakuru. Yeah. Even Innocent, actually, Smooth IK, when I was talking to him, you came up in a conversation, and I was like, what is Ndine Emma doing right that the others can learn from? Is that pressure for you, or how do you genuinely, you know, approach that entire situation?
Well, it is a lot of pressure, of course, looking at where I'm coming from and like the people that are looking up to me, obviously. So there's a certain standard that I've set for myself that I hope to keep up. So usually it's just me competing against myself. I don't really look at what other people are doing. You know, I do, of course, you know, look out for competition, but I'm not a very big follower of what other people are doing. I just improve on myself. That's why even most of my music, like, you can tell that this is just me. There's no one who you can mistake me for, like,
Yeah.
like, it's just me. So it's just me working on myself, and it's a lot of fun. So the pressure is like, Sima vutana maning, because I pressure myself, so it's not external, it's just here. Yeah.
And I think this ties into your start in the, because you started off as comedian, creator, as you like to call it. And there was one time we were having a conversation, you spoke of how home wasn't so supportive, because they were like, Emma in the job school, like, oh, comedy, you know, one of those things.
Yeah.
When did that change? When did the family now start saying, wait, like there's something there? And also, why did you keep going, even though the people at home weren't like, of course they weren't discouraging you, but they weren't 100%, you know, going for that?
Yeah, so I started doing skits back in 2021. I had just completed high school. So, you know, before you blow, obviously, like when you're doing comedy, it doesn't really look right. Like everything is okay in your head until you make it. But the support came early from them, but it just happened when people started giving me support, like outside. That's when they really accepted the fact that, okay, this guy has chosen to do this, because they really had no choice either way. I was still gonna do it.
You were going to.
Yeah, but they were just worried for me, you know, which I understand, because even me, when I was doing it, it was kind of embarrassing, because even some of my friends didn't want to join me whenever I needed extras, because, you know, it's not really going anywhere. So
Just let people follow.
Yeah. Literally, yeah. So they started supporting me once the outside world accepted the fact that, okay, this guy is funny, he can make us laugh, and also because I was giving them money.
Of course, the parents always change. We now talk or head into the switch. I think we spoke about this last time. The Boy Must Be Crazy, an EP. Very interesting artwork. I think it got a lot of people talking. I think even beyond just talking on social media, you started to put out a billboard for people to see outside. But when we started the conversation, you said listening to that music is almost cringe. What has changed in your ear now that you're listening to that music? And how can we then hear it differently in this new album? But let's focus on The Boy Must Be Crazy. What has changed in your ears?
So growing up, I always wanted to be a rapper, like a traditional rapper. So like there are different types of rappers. I wanted to be a traditional rapper. Those rappers who are hard, those rappers who make you think. Yeah, like those like Kendrick and stuff. Like I didn't want to make upbeat music like Run. Like I was such a big enemy of this genre. Like I didn't want it anywhere near me. Like even the music, most of the music I listen to is just that traditional hip hop. Yeah. So sometimes it's good to, not sometimes, every time it's good to identify your weaknesses and not because of such a TV. So that was what was wrong with that EP in my ear. I was trying so hard to rap. And then once I did Kachai So, people loved that more. And then I was like, so this is what people want from me. Like, so I decided to improve on what I did with Kachai So and come up with a different sound. So there's a lot of maturity, there's a lot of growth, and there's a lot of understanding what people want from me. And I've fallen in love with actually doing that now. Yeah, so on The Boy Must Be Crazy, I tried a lot of things that I couldn't do perfectly because there were a lot of people that were better than me in that. So I decided to stop wasting my time and then just improve on what people love me for. Because even if I wanted to rap, like I discovered that I couldn't really rap like, you know, I wasn't a very deep rapper. I'm a light rapper. Like, I make people smile, you know. Yeah, so that's what's different about The Boy Must Be Crazy and Matero in the House.
One. Well, we're going to talk about Matero in the House, but I want to spend more time there. It's one thing for the creative to see it and understand it, but for the crowd, it's childish. Because I remember there was one time we were speaking about Organize Animal Club, and then a friend of mine was like, what type of song is that? Like, it's not even serious. Like, how is this even a song?
That's the point.
I think the hype is overrated. You know, TikTok doesn't know what it wants. But in there, you find yourself going to mass market and selling out, and people coming to your events like crazy, and people singing word for word. How do you manage to stay convinced as a creative even when other people around you are saying, this isn't music? Like, we have a music industry, we have your maps, we have, you know, Chef, when Chef spits, he spits. But this isn't music. How does that play for you?
Well, it comes down to the fact that everyone has their own opinion on certain things. You know, there's certain music that people really love in this country that I just don't feel, but it's just me. You know, I cannot recruit people in convincing them that Indian music, AC music, like no matter how bad you dislike something, there's always someone who will like it. So I work with the people that love what I do, you know what I mean? Because I cannot manage to convince everyone. Like even big artists like Chef 187. The other day I saw a post, it was on a certain social media page that said, which artist do you think is overrated? And then one guy said, Chef 187. I don't see like anything good about that guy. And then I was like, so in a then you know what I mean? So it's just opinion at the end of the day, and yeah, it's just opinion, man.
Let's talk about more opinions. Well, let's talk about facts now. The Matero in the House has Chef 187, Triple M, Shoki Mwana, Chivolia, Tishon, and Blood Kid YVOK. This is a project that you said started 2023, and then 2024 you said I want to make an album, and then 1 year later it's finally here. In the years that have gone within creating, saying I think Case Adams is better, I think Dismo is okay, I think you know this, that. How does creating an album even begin for you as a creative, personally, as Ndine Emma?
So for me, it's not really how an album is created, but for me, how I created this album was I had too many unreleased songs. And then I was like, because music again, there's a certain wave that it works with. So this season, there might be this sound that's happening, and then after 3 months we hear a different
Something
thing
else.
So like the more you keep it, the more it becomes old, and the more it loses its value, I would
touch.
say, or its touch. That's a better word for it. Yeah. So I had too many unreleased songs, and then even I had a lot of unreleased songs. I had to look back at the message that I was trying to put out there, and then I had to redo the songs. Some of the songs I just let them go. Yeah, but it was just a point where I was creating a lot of music and I had too much to do. I had like content to make and stuff, so I didn't really have time for the music. You know what I mean?
Ndine Emma is busy.
I was doing everything, bruh. I got 4 dogs to take care of.
The whole family. We're a family of 5.
Yeah, so it got to the point where I had too many unreleased songs and I decided to redo the songs and then just package them so that I have time to do my own stuff while people are listening to these 14 songs.
Yeah. What's the oldest song? Can we have the list? What's the oldest song and what's the newest song you added to the project?
The oldest song is track 4, Sangakan.
Okay.
It was I initially wanted someone on it, but yeah, they didn't send the verse. We don't want to go there. But yeah, the oldest is Sangakane, track 4, Obragada, track 7, track 6, Blood Kid, and most of these are new. I think yeah, most of these are new. Yeah.
Why isn't there a title track? Because the album is called Matero in the House, but why don't you have a Matero in the House song?
So initially, but the title track was supposed to be track 1. Because track 1 is for my people, but I figured for my people was more powerful than naming it Matero in the House, because it's more broad. It's not only about people from Matero, you know. Yeah.
Why Matero in the House? Because I think the last time we spoke about you going back to Matero and you say you hadn't been there in a long time. So are you just using Matero because you know people love, because when you say Matero, people stand up. It's like Kopala, you know, when you say Kopala, people just, from the blues, they stand up. So why did you go with Matero in the House?
I like what people from the Copper Belt have done, but it's not. I'm not touching on the title yet. But I just want to explain something. I like how people from the Copper Belt are. It's like you will never find a Zambian outside Zambia somewhere and saying, "I'm a Zambian." You know what I mean? They always try to disguise it and they just say they're African and stuff. But if you find a Nigerian, the other day I was at a certain party, and then one guy, he's from Nigeria and he knew me from Josh Tufani. So he was like, "Oh, my brother, I like you. I'm going to buy you champagne. I want to show you that I'm Nigerian." You know what I mean? We don't have that in Lusaka. It's only on the Copper Belt. Like, no one will ever say, but away from that, Matero in the House that's why it's a whole sentence. It's Matero, in the house. So it's just a dream that I had back home. You know, that's why the artwork is me sitting in a room with like portraits and stuff. Most of those portraits are actually original portraits from back home that I actually had in my actual room.
Nice.
And some of these boxes are also from home. You know, like my room is still intact, but this is not my room. This one looks bad. But yeah, it's just a dream that I had back home that I'm trying to realize now.
That's amazing, Ndine Emma. Amidst all of these things that you're doing, content creation, making music, being in series, of course having other plans and dreams for your own self, how do you find time to, this is a cliche question, but how do you find time to recenter and find yourself? And do you ever have an imposter syndrome where you feel like the personality that is Ndine Emma is different from Emmanuel, and how do you reconcile, you know, the two of them? Because you say you don't look at it as being an executive and an artist. It's all one for you. The creator, the skits, the social media, the branding, it's all one for you. That can be exhausting. When do you peel it all back and focus on just yourself?
So with me, I don't really act. Even in that series, I just being me.
I saw it. I say this is Ndine Emma on a regular, you know?
Yeah, it's just me. Although I don't really, like, people expect it sometimes when they meet me in public to act like that, but that's not how I am in public. But when I'm with my friends, that character that you see in my skits, that's just the way I am. That's me on a normal day. So I never really take a day off. It's just me being me every day. And it's just me now. You know what I mean? So I never really stress, and like I don't really have to like think about it a lot. It's like, for example, when I got that role in Tikula, I read it and I was like, okay, this isn't me, but I know this is what they want. But I had an idea because I knew that if I did it exactly the way they wanted me to do it, I wouldn't have done it because I'm not an actor. Like, I've never really wanted to act in the first place. Like, that might be my last series, in fact.
But you did good.
Yeah, I did. I
did good.
Shout out to Steve-O. Yeah, but I had a lot of improv that still went back to my character. I was like, let me make this mine and I'll deliver the way you want me to do it. But we need
to wrap up, but my last question is, this year, like any other year, has been crazy for the industry, but I think this year, as the years progress, the fights become louder, the commotion becomes crazier.
Sad.
It's a lot of dragging, a lot of camps, a lot of revelations. There was this thing about boom play. At the beginning of the year, there was the whole dandy crazy thing with the funeral. What's your advice for staying out of industry politics, but still being in the industry for someone who's watching as an artist?
Yeah, so there are certain youngsters or people, I wouldn't really call them youngsters, but they are, some of them are youngsters, that text me and they're like, big man, I want to become famous like you. So I usually ask them, like, why do you want to become famous? You know what I mean? Because most of these things I had to learn the hard way. I had to learn while I was learning on the job. You know what I mean? So with a lot of people, like this drama that people get themselves into, some of them, they just want it to be like that, you know? It all comes back to character. Like ngati ndemo audition like monga money single na voka magamba singasibatikize nyambo voka magamba na muntu because I'm not mentally strong. If I get in a fight with someone, I might do something stupid, so I stay out of I might say something really bad that it will still come back to me. So ni maona sininga kwa ni says because ndino machifukushi so nichoka. So like before you decide to become famous, okay, you don't really decide, people decide whether you become famous or not. But you have to know why you want to do it. Me, I didn't want to become famous. I wanted to create content. I wanted to make music. I just love it. And then, unfortunately, fame comes with it. You can't be a musician and no one knows you. And blankets, I'm buffer. Yeah. Yeah. So it's just character. Because attention now in disease sometimes. People, when they see that attention is fading away from them, they want it. Like, everyone wants attention, but what do you want it for? Do you want it for promote your music, your art, or you just want people to know you? Those are the people now that go back to start drama. Because as you are sometimes talent yake simu backing ama ningi, so manje kuti aikose seko. Afunika tukanako muntu, tukanako batate wa ndani zingatuko. But in the always so. Yeah, be like me. Be like me. Be like me. Drink water, eat shima.
Forget about it. Thank you so much for joining us on the Upville. I can't wait for more projects, more videos from it. We were speaking to Ndine Emma, who has his debut album out now titled Matero in the House. Look out for it on all streaming platforms. Here is For My People, and on the other side, more of the Upville.